Hey everybody, this is Jeff from Jeff Vegetable Gardening and Containers in Fruit Trees, etc. Today, everybody's always got the question about potatoes, how to grow them. They're probably one of the easiest things in the world to do, and the maintenance on them, keep problems. Maybe once a week, give them some water, that's it. And two types of potatoes that I grow. These are like Purple Majesty and smaller red New Orleans potatoes. These are 90-day potatoes, right? And you have the big New Orleans, which are cut in half. They're all scabbed now, dried. These are 90 to 120-day potatoes, and these are russets. They're the same thing. They're 90 to 120-day potatoes. So what I did was all the bigger potatoes I cut in half. You got to have two grow spots. There's one, and each potato. There's one there. Then you got to have at least two eyes on the potatoes so to be able to grow correctly in each bucket. So all the bigger ones are split. The singular small ones, I just throw one part on them. They're left over from another series of growing, so I'm not too worried about it. But in each of these 4 buckets now, there's roughly 8 inches of my mixture. So it's a third, and a third equal amounts as close as possible of peat moss, potting soil, and cow manure. So when you mix all 3 of them together, and what I do is I mix a handful of 10, 10, 10, and there's like a whole wheelbarrow of dirt, and behind the camera I do have a whole nother wheelbarrow full to be ready to fill on top of what I'm done with. So what we want to do is we want to get these potatoes in place in the buckets. Remember, the cut end always goes down in the dirt, and when the eyelets go up. When you put these in, underneath each potato you want like a half handful of bone meal, half a handful of blood meal. That allows you to have the nutrition along with the 10, 10, 10. It's already surrounded in there. Gives you a great growing environment. Once you put them in with there, these are roughly, I think these are 20s. These are 20, might be 25. But they're roughly 20-gallon containers. So like I said, you always want 4 to 8 inches on the bottom. I got a little thick on the bottom because potatoes are either they can either grow throughout the bucket, or they grow straight out from the stems and stay in all one area, depending on what type you use. Most of the ones I use that are available from me that I get are the ones that grow out in one area, so part of the soil isn't really used, but it's needed there for the nutrition, the moisture, to hold everything the way it has to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fertilize the dirt where we have to, each individual spot. And once we fertilize everything and do what we need to do, we'll set the potatoes on there. Once we get the potatoes in place the way we want them, then all we're going to do is cover them up with dirt. The very last mark on the bucket up here, this last little line right here, with dirt, and not tamp it down hard, but just level it off or whatever. Water it real good, and then so that'll put like another 6 to 8 inches on top of them. Then we'll put some straw on top of there so that none of the potatoes can see sunlight and get green, and it'll allow a good place to be able to grow the potatoes from. So we'll get started on these 4 containers and get telling you. So the first one I'm going to start off here with is the bone meal. So I'm going to put 4 halves of the big russets in here. So I'm going to go to like a cross area in there, and some bone meal there, some bone meal there. So you're putting like a cross area on the top of the soil. You've got bone meal right underneath the potato. And you also have the brown blood meal underneath on top of that, right? And all 4 areas. Again, mix it in just a little bit. Don't go crazy. Mix in the soil a little bit, right? And I have 4 areas that are dedicated right to these potatoes the way I want it to. So the first thing I do is when I get one of these, make sure I got 2 eyes. I put them out and cut them in half so they dry off and scab. Now they're scabbed, so they won't rot away. And then I'll be able to pop right down at fertilizer. and just push right down into that dirt, nice and firm. Right? Got one with plenty of eyes on it right there. We're going to push it right down. Get that into that area right there. We're pushing it down into a moisture recreator. There's another piece there. It's scabbed over. Let's just put some fertilizer in that place right there on top of it. And then we're going to get one more, as you can see right here. And pop it in there. And I'll be honest with you. See how much that is. So we should be okay, and that's all we're going to need. These are russets, so these should end up when they come through strong and we've been there to be a pretty nice sized cave because of all big russets. So the same thing's going to happen over on this pair in front of you. It's going to be on 4 spots. Right there, we're going to mix that bone meal right in the cross formation. Right? And we're going to put our blood meal on top of there. Now we're done mixing just that little area. Nothing crazy, just enough to keep them something up in that area. Now we're mixed together, then we're going to do, say always make sure there's 2 eyes, which I have around, it's scabbed over. And you got to cut those potatoes like the day before and the night before. Or see what I did, I cut them today, but I put them out in the sun to dry over real nice, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm just going to scab so they have a place where they're not going to rot out. There's 2 there, and like I said, I'll give them a good push down into the soil there, right? And then we got one more left here. Yep, so that's 4 and 4 in each bucket, and I'm only going 4. If they were small potatoes, I might do a few more on a couple buckets. They're bigger than if they grow the way they're supposed to grow. They're going to grow so big because they're russets that you're not going to have to really think about how you're going to do it. Now, my only issue is that one big russet, these 2 big russets left here. I can fit a russet in another container. I really don't like mixing them. So what I'm probably going to do is, which I normally don't do, is I'm going to put a piston in the center here. Just because they're such big containers. Right, a little bit of bone. A little bit of blood. Mix it in. Leave it in. Now they're mixed. The only thing I got to do with these 2 barrels now is the pre-mixed dirt I have is pulled all up to that, roughly that top line. Let me kind of just this a little bit for you over here. Yeah, I'm messing with you. This way. So now what we're going to do is the next one's going to be red oil. Red oil in the potatoes. So I need some bone. That same kind of snail. These are bigger red ones. See the size that they both got eyes on. But got 2 eyes on them. So that goes a little softer, so we push them a little easier. 2. That's scabbed over. You can see the eyes right there. Right? You see the eyes on it too, and it's scabbed over and dried off. Right? Push that one down in there. Nice to work. Got those on there, and I'm going to put one more here. I'm going to put some bone as well. Just because I have so many here. I'm going to use them up. I put this bigger 4 on. I put 5 on because I have room in their bigger buckets. So now what I have, oops, I mean, I'm trying that way, you guys. Moving the camera. So now I've got this last bucket here, and I really wanted to use up these other potatoes ahead, so I might just use them for breakfast, which is just good. Almost easy. Part harder. So a little burn there, burn, more burn right there, more burn there, right? Good meal. A little bit of blood, a little bit of good, mix it together, mix some gravy. Just enough that it's not all clumped up. Another red with olives on it, right? Just like this side of it and blot it out. So what we want, should be another red there. Put it down, it's got 2 olives on it. Another red there with 2 olives on it, right? Olives are pointed up. The flat, scaly, dried out part of the potato goes down, right? I'm mixing 2 potatoes here only because I need something to finish this bucket up with. And this one you see is not a huge one. This is actually half the size of the bigger one. But it has an olive here, has an olive there. So I'm going to use this whole potato in this one spot and let it work its way. Let it grow itself in there. Put the growing. So right now, before what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more that has an olive there that's starting. There's an olive there, so we should be good to go on these. This is a fifth plate, but it's a little onion blood in the center. Stir around a little bit, right? Let's see. There's all over. I'm going to push this one down the middle. Like I said, very rare when I use pot potatoes and things that they were so big, the ones I got, and these small ones. So what I'll do is I'll get another barrel for what's left here, these smaller reds and purple majesties, so I can grow them in this big one is another barrel that I have. So the product, now I'm going to move the camera, don't think I'm crazy. Product is now, you can see how the potatoes are laying in. There's blood and bone underneath each one, right? And they're all set to go, they're ready to go. Just put that tomato in and all of those cauliflowers I put in this morning. Bought a pack of 6, I only wanted 4, so let's see. Normally you're doing cauliflower and broccoli, sometimes you're probably going to lose 1 or 2 anyway. So you don't get too overexcited about the whole thing, but everything's growing real good back there. On this side, I just want to show you, I got to the point of that's a blueberry bush there that I just did. That's a raspberry bush, and I got another raspberry bush around the back, but I'd be interested to see how that blueberry does down here. But I'd rather, when you have something like that up north, you can put them in the ground. I still do them in barrels, but they'll grow better sometimes in the ground up there. Here's the predators, and not predators, Jesus, rodents and bugs and weird stuff here in Florida, so you want to try to keep them off. Strawberries, like I said, we did the other day, are looking pretty doggone good on the top. They're a little dried out, but I'll water it again tonight. And here, this orange one took a hit, the mint and the basil, and the one look okay. Well, they all look a little bit crappy, but it's hard to get things going sometimes down here with the heat. But you can see how that one's doing. That broccoli there looks real good. This strawberry here looks like it's ready to die, but I'm just telling you, see how that one looks dead, but it's got a flower on it? You don't know, so I got to just kind of watch them for the next couple of weeks just to see if they'll come back. If not, I'll put something else in there. That was just a new thing, trying broccoli on that bottom row, just to see what it would kind of do. So the next step in this series of potatoes is pretty much a easy one, except for everything. It's pretty easy. It's just more or less that the bucket's filled up with the proper dirt, which I already had here. You can see it's dried out soil, which is what you want. The only thing you're going to using the water for is when fill this bigger containers up, I'm probably going to need to do another 2 barrels of this stuff just for these shaders that these milk shaders that I do. Something that I live with. So once we get that up to a certain point, you see the level in that bucket going up there. Keep calling it bucket, barrel, whatever you want to call it. No, I do nothing crazy. I just work around trying to level it up a little bit. You know? That's all I'm doing. Just level up and he's ready to get in there. We're going to put some. This is we've got never done this, but he does put actually keeps the leaves on it, I think. And it keeps them from getting scalded at the sun. That's most of the things. Potatoes that are green because of how the poisons are very get you sick as a dog if you're eating them like that. So I don't know how many will this yeah, so when I do this wheelbarrow for one levy, it ends up being 1 bag of hot soda, 1 bag of cabin oil, it's a small one, it's a black cabin. Standard potting soil. You get the real big bags of potting soil in your hand. If you're going to get rid of the big potting soil, then you're going to do half of the manure like that. Run around the scene and the peat moss just comes in a huge block. Weighs about 50 pounds or whatever. And you want to just judge as you're doing it, as you're mixing it all in with the 10-10-10. But you got about the same ratio as that stuff. So when you're all done, mixed all the bone meal, mixed all the manure, and mixed all the pot soil together. With some one fertilizer to get enough pot soil in it so it's not dry. So you take the wetness out of it because you're going to have enough water to run. To make it nice soil, it's light and foamy. What that allows that all to do, and I'm very touching down on that. What that allows us to do is allow the heat to come up off the sides of the potatoes to feed up through the bed. And once you're fed up, once you start feeding up through the bed, you don't do that, and it's just becoming like a huge and you just have leaves and everything going everywhere. And then they're coming up to probably halfway through. You start seeing little parts getting up the barrel. It goes over the finish process. People leave. Once you start seeing them stick up, they'll stick there like this, and they'll start falling over. They'll get flowers on them, you name it. Put most of the time. And some people believe in pulling the flowers off and they get bigger and blah blah blah. Everybody's got a different little way with something. I just don't get into that. I think this is just only the way I'm doing it. So those two are done, they're ready to go. Like I said, I got the other stuff put in, mixed by I think I got put together this morning. So I'm just gonna get more dirt mixed in my barrel and finish these two up. And what I'll do is I will come back after I will come back here after let's say 2-3 weeks from to start breaking through. 3 weeks to a month I'll come back on this now. Where you're at, start showing with the show the progress. And like I said, the only potatoes I have in these now are 120 day potatoes. Didn't have enough room for the 90 day potatoes for whatever I wanted. So I'm going to let you go. I'm going to get these filled up with dirt. Strong enough, I'm going to get real wet. That's it, except for when I got to water them until they've been, here comes your own, and I keep up with them. You know, the part. You don't have to heavily fertilize these things just so they fill up. You got to give them something. Sometimes if you have a lot of rain and you're doing above ground beds, here comes in, if you got a lot of rain, it'll wash through the barrels because all the holes you have to in the bottom of all the 5-gallon buckets of containers for like I said, for vegetables. They love water, but they hate pain. So they love to get to drink and they love to go for it. Water flows through, it's got to drain out and get rid of it. Down here it's real hot in Florida, so it dries out even quicker. So it's just a matter of keeping up with your watering. I would say possibly down here maybe twice a week. So it's only a little 2 or 3 minutes to get real wet, full bucket. That's it. So I'm going to get some still get strong and we'll come back in the next couple of days because I got some, I got to do a harvest. Got a huge harvest to do out here on the vegetables. And then I'm come back with one on sweet potatoes so you can see how you put sweet potatoes in the container, go over the soil, let it moisture, let them sit there, and they'll start growing the vines off them. And then you end up pulling those vines off of the potatoes after they get to be 8-12 inches long. You put them in water and they grow roots out in the grass a little for sunlight around it. And once you get those, what they call slips, all the roots turn off them and everything on the ground and get some good roots on them. You plug those roots right into the dirt. No shades, just plug those roots in and do the same kind of thing as we're doing here. And cover them up and leave the roots up just a little bit. Not the roots, slip. Maybe 8-6 inches up out of the dirt and the roots and everything down below. And they will take over. And believe me, when sweet potatoes doing well, you'll know because they grow, they'll take over everywhere. So it's a good time, good amount of time. If you have sweet potatoes, it'll be over the grass, it'll be some of it will just take over an area like Florida and dominate it. That's just part of it. Alright guys, I'm going to go on this potato land. Remember we did russet, red northern, and I'm going to do one more barrel, but I'm not going to video that one. Have the purple ones and stuff, but I'll let you know as it goes on how they're making out for the running day. This one's going. See it happen. Pretty well in good shape. Alright, so I'm going to let you go, like I said, for the third time. And I'll do a harvest. I'll take some pictures and I'll be putting out some pictures today of the food harvest off the trees I took today. I like to eat lemons, big lemons, and papaya and some oranges. Real good stuff, so we'll see how it all goes on. I'll let you go from there, guys, and we'll be talking to you soon. And don't forget to go out and like and subscribe and share the videos. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.